Back to the race for the White House, and just days to go before the third Democratic debate. Thursday's face-off in Houston will be a more intimate affair, you might say, at least more than the previous ones, with just 10 candidates on a single night. The lineup allows Senator Elizabeth Warren to go head-to-head with Joe Biden for the first time. The timing is good for Warren, with this new ABC News Washington Post poll showing her gaining steam, up 6 points since July, creating a close race between her, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden. Joining me now again is Rachel Bovard, Policy Director at the Conservative Partnership, and Basis Michael is here with me in New York, the Democratic strategist and former Executive Director of the New York State Democratic Party. Welcome to all of you. So, Baz, I want to start with you right here in the studio because you saw there Biden versus Warren face-off. I imagine that there are a lot of people who are going to be looking forward to that face-off come Thursday. What will you be looking and listening for?
Sure. So the two things that I'm really going to be listening for, one, the way that Warren and Sanders sort of partnered together in the previous debate to sort of make it progressives against everybody else. I wonder if they're going to do that this time, because it does look like we're at a pivotal moment in the Warren campaign when she can surge in such a way that she presents herself as the alternative to Joe Biden. So she needs to not just create some space, but she not only needs to gain ground on Biden, which she's already doing, but create some space between her and Bernie Sanders. So I wonder if if that dynamic is going to play out. And then secondly, how many arrows is Joe Biden going to get at the end of the day, and from whom?
On the trail, he's been shooting some of the arrows at himself.
He has been opening that door for himself, quite absolutely right. But this is also an opportunity for folks like a Cory Booker, like a Julian Castro, even to some extent Amy Klobuchar and Kamala Harris, to sort of make that appeal, to have that moment to sort of regain a little more, to come up a little bit in the polls as we get into this sort of next era of the campaign.
Yeah, and Rachel, as we were mentioning, those polls are showing Warren on the rise, but that same poll shows Biden as the best to beat Trump. Do you agree with that, or could Warren realistically win against Trump?
I think the Warren surge is real. I think her ground game is incredibly strong, and Joe Biden is running up against the fact that he might not be able to run anymore, right? He is showing a lot of fatigue on the campaign trail, a lot of gaffes. But again, to your point, we haven't seen these two on the debate stage together, and they have a long history of personal animosity going back to before Elizabeth Warren was a senator. But I think even from a broad perspective, what we're seeing now is the progressive surge of the Democrats. You're not really seeing any moderates on stage. Amy Klobuchar is perhaps the closest who can claim that moderate mantle, but the rest of these guys are purely progressive liberals. And so I think, this is the Democrat Party now. Goodbye, moderates. They are fully to the left on issues like health care, on immigration, on climate change, and abortion.
But, I'm sorry. One of the things that I look at is not so much moderates versus progressives. I actually look at Biden, since he's occupying about a third of the polls, in most of the polls, he's about a third of the electorate. I look at it as sort of Biden versus disruptors. And I say that because when you think about all the other candidates in terms of policy, in terms of gender, race, ethnicity, in some way, shape, or form, they're disruptors. What Bernie Sanders brought to the race from 2016 to now is a lot of policy language and talking points that a lot of the other candidates have absorbed. So it's not just about progressive versus moderate. I think it's Joe Biden in ways that people think of as the president, an older white man, versus disruptors.
And I got to really quickly, Rachel. Mark Sanford, the former governor of South Carolina, entered the race today. Will he make a difference?
I don't think so. I think this is more of a vanity run than anything else for Mark Sanford. He didn't even win his district. I'm not sure how he's going to win the country.
Right. Agreed.
We'll leave it there. Rachel Bovard and Basis Michael, our thanks to both of you guys.